Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. The 2024 election is officially here. So last night we had the Republican Iowa caucuses take place, which kicks off the nomination process, determining who will be running in the general election coming later this year in November. Now, the Iowa caucuses are the first elections to determine the nomination of the two major political parties here in the United States. Iowa is the first state, followed by New Hampshire, which we will be discussing here in this video. And last night was the Iowa caucuses for the GOP primary. And as we saw last night, there was pretty much little to no surprises here. So lots to discuss here, ladies and gentlemen, with regards to this election. We're going to be doing some reactions, some analysis, and what to expect in the future. You know, what to expect in New Hampshire, Nevada, South Carolina, and then Super Tuesday, which will be coming in March. So the 2024 election is officially in full swing, and expect more videos like this coming in the near future, so stick around, make sure you subscribe and turn on those notifications because I'm your news guy. I'll keep you guys up to date with regards to this election going on this year here in the United States. But right now, our primary focus is on Iowa. Now, last night, the state of Iowa held their GOP caucuses that they do every time there's a presidential election. You know, the first set of primary elections to determine the nomination of each political party to represent themselves in the general election coming in November. And in these Iowa caucuses, I don't think anybody was at all surprised at this outcome here. In Iowa, Trump has completely won the state insurmountably against all of his opposition, getting 51% of the vote with over 56,000 votes and earning himself 20 delegates. Everybody else, on the other hand, Ron DeSantis, little over 21% and over 23,000 votes and 9 delegates, followed by Nikki Haley, who has 19% and 21,000 votes and 8 delegates. Now, obviously, everybody and their mothers knew that this was going to happen. All the aggregate polls that we see had Trump winning the state by at least a mere 30 points. That is the exact margin that Trump won Iowa in. Now, normally, I don't really trust the polls too well, but the average aggregate, according to RCP, projected a 30-point victory for Trump, which is exactly what happened. He has won 98 out of the 99 counties, the one loss being Johnson County, which is where Iowa City is located, and Nikki Haley only won that county by just one sole vote. This was just a complete insurmountable victory from Trump in these Iowa caucuses. Vivek Ramaswamy, really the most likable candidate out of the bunch, only has 7.7% and 85,000 votes with 3 delegates. Now, I've seen a lot of people trash Vivek before. This is a guy that I like and I praise a lot. He was definitely not my first choice in the primary. Obviously, Trump was. But shortly after the results came in and Trump was projected to win, he did announce in his campaign that he was dropping out of the race and endorsing Trump right away. This is the right move for Vivek. The guy has been praising Trump a lot in his campaign and the debates, and a lot of people projected him as like a younger version of Trump, and I understand why people would support him and why he would run just to get some, just to get some young blood in there. Trump is approaching 80 and Biden surpassing 80 years old. Not that many people are too comfortable with having an old fart in there and see Vivek as a more likable and younger version of him. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy is 38 years old, and even I, as someone who likes and supports him as a distant second choice at best, it's DJT or bust. As I keep saying, it's DJT or bust. I appreciate the support and him bringing new ideas and new things on the table, and I hope Trump takes note from you, but I would prefer you being either his vice president or working in his cabinet in some way and making a potential run for 2028. You know, you're young, you're 38 years old, you got a lot of potential, but it's just not your year. This is Donald Trump's year. As I keep saying over and over and over again, it's DJT or bust. In my perspective, I think Vivek is not just a plant or like a supposed globalist obstacle to Trump, but rather an unexpected ally who just tried to run just to get his name out and show everyone that there is a future for this America First movement, and also that young people are here and support these ideas and this movement, and not every millennial or Gen Z is a bleeding heart leftist snowflake. Madison Cawthorn tried to do this, but we all know what happened at the end. Props to him for at least dropping out in time for Trump. A lot of Trump's core fan base are really praising him for that decision, and this might actually help Trump more than ever now. I've been saying that this dude deserves to be a VP this year and run in 2028 instead of 2024. I think that should be the way moving forward for Vivek. I think he made the right decision, and he's got a pretty bright future ahead of him. Doug Burgum, North Dakota governor, the state that only 2 people live in, dropped out before the caucuses even started and endorsed Trump. That's really there is to it. Meanwhile, Chris Christie struggles to even get a full 0.1% and only has 35 votes. And I think he dropped out as well too. Man, poor Big Chungus. We all know Chris Christie is only there for the free food that he loves to engorge. There's a reason why all these states keep getting these earthquakes wherever Chris Christie arrives and lands. Every time there's shaking, especially if you happen to live in a state where there's barely any seismic activity whatsoever, we already know, yep, that's Chris Christie all right. We don't have enough seismic activity to produce an earthquake at that magnitude. Must be Big Chungus. Can't even get a single delegate or percentage point. Not to mention, his policy is just as bad, if not worse, than even in Nikki Haley even. Now, I did try to stream the Iowa caucuses, but it really got boring immediately. What the fuck is there to talk about when we already know who the winner is? Now, I'll still be able to live stream New Hampshire. That Iowa caucus stream was more or less of a test stream. Testing out some of the new technology I have in store. Thank God it works with the new setup. I'm not used to, streaming like this. I was a little bit anxious and nervous, which resulted in a boring, awkward, and cringy stream that nobody bothers to watch that briefly turned into a football stream, where the Eagles got crushed by the Buccaneers. But at least I can use these primaries to get myself practice and become a little bit more comfortable with the whole streaming idea, and the more used to it that I get, maybe the more people will start to tune in, I would suppose. So, attempted to do an Iowa caucus stream. Short, boring, and awkward stream. It will still be on there for anyone's curiosity, but I'm hoping the New Hampshire stream would be a much better stream, maybe a little bit more entertaining, and I'll try to add more personality to it. Even though, sooner rather than later, Trump is going to keep winning these states, and then everyone has to drop out, and then we're inevitably going to end up having Trump and Biden both running unopposed, and that being the de facto general election nominations. So what the fuck is gonna be the point of streaming Nevada and South Carolina? I gotta think of something else to talk about during that time. Maybe I can turn them into a hangout stream where we talk about pretty much anything. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, that was the exact result that we were expecting out of Iowa. Trump running away with the state. Now, there's obviously a shit ton of salt being poured from this alone. Mostly by the usual suspects, the D-simps, the left, the Democrats, obviously. The same people who say, oh, Trump can't win, he's unelectable, he's too corrupt, he's got too much baggage on him, E. Jean Carroll, look at what happened at 1-6. Well, the results speak otherwise. I don't think I have ever seen a presidential candidate win that much in an Iowa caucus before. Unelectable, you say? Well, people still like him. The vast majority of the electorate thinks that he is still the guy to put this country into the right direction. And the crazy thing is, a lot of these candidates were spending a shitload of money trying to stop Trump, but they failed miserably. Trump has the charisma, Trump has a lot of enthusiasm, his support is growing more so than ever. Of course, the indictments that he's been going through certainly helps out a lot, and there's just no stopping him. To be fair, he's effectively running unopposed right now. It doesn't even matter that Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis are still in the running of this race. No, it doesn't matter. Trump's gonna win regardless. I think what we saw in Iowa is pretty much an indicator of what is to come in future elections, including New Hampshire. As of recording, there's, I think, only 3 people in the running. Maybe even Asa Hutchinson if he's still in there. But really, it's just a 2-3 person race where one is insurmountably ahead already and is expected to win already. That doesn't mean we're not going to talk about New Hampshire, because New Hampshire is still important. You know, there are 3 guys still in it. But at the same time, it shouldn't be no surprise that Trump is going to win those states regardless. He has that support. And really, the leftoids and the neocons and the never-Trumpers all take the L here. They said that he can't win. They said that these guys are better options. No, they clearly aren't. Vivek really was the only good option out of those candidates, but it's just too early for him. He's young. He might even work with Trump as a VP or as a cabinet position. Again, like I said, I think that's a major W that he dropped out and endorsed Trump. Work in his cabinet or be his VP and then focus on 2028. And a lot of Vivek supporters understood this. They're only supporting him because they want someone young in there. That doesn't necessarily mean that they hate Trump, obviously. Trump and Vivek really talk the same thing. It's just one guy is younger than the other, significantly. But the fact that Vivek is young, this is Trump's year, you can wait another 4 years. I don't think that will hurt quite a bit. It was just too early for Vivek. I think 2028 is the right move for him. It's not like these 4 years already flew by already. 2020 doesn't even feel like 4 years ago. It only feels like, I don't know, 1.5 years ago. That's how quick these 4 years flew by. So I think there is a pretty good chance that we will see him run again in 2028. And the vast majority of Vivek supporters already understand this. And I think the fact that he endorsed Trump, he praises Trump a lot, that will certainly help him in New Hampshire and beyond. But the D-Simps, on the other hand, aren't really taking it too lightly. They're the ones that I've seen complain the most. Some of them went even as far as saying that, oh, DeSantis is going to sweep the board. He's going to win all of these states. DeSantis 2024, baby. Yeah, nice try, buddy. I mean, yeah, as somebody who lives in the state that DeSantis is governing, he's actually been a pretty solid governor so far. He's not necessarily as bad as what Laura Loomer has been making it out and claiming lately. There's a lot of good that he has done for us and for the state. Again, let me reiterate, he has worked on banning critical race theory, de-wokeifying the school systems, valid response to COVID, a valid response to Hurricane Ian, and Hurricane Idalia even. His Everglades restoration efforts have been pretty solid so far, taking action after Parkland, firing that sheriff, holding everyone accountable for their incompetence, cleaning house throughout the board. I can list a lot of things that he has done that I like. For instance, HB 269 and Don't Say Gay. Am I going to say that he's a bad governor for this? No, not necessarily. I don't think he's the right guy to be president of the entire country. I know Max Nardot from Twitter is going to rant about this, claiming that I'm being hypocritical because I praise my own governor as a Florida man, but I don't want him to run for president. That's right. I don't want him to be president. He should be sticking to his state instead of favoring a presidential run over his state and the people residing in that state. Not to mention, his campaign has been a fucking shit show all this entire time. Firing staffers, musical chairs, this and that, fundraising issues and whatnot. Not to mention the absolute botched announcement from the Twitter spaces that happened, if you remember that. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be touching him and his campaign with a 10-foot pole. But his fans and the people who just simp for him are just delusional. They really think that after all what's happening, after the results that we saw last night, they still think he has a shot. No, he doesn't. DeSantis is not a better option over Trump. It's just unrealistic. And Nikki Haley, on the other hand, that doesn't really need any explanation. She is the female John McCain. That's really all there is to it. A female John McCain. Viciously pro-war, boomer-esque policies, war, sending money overseas, war, funding more war. Oh, and also, did I also mention war? I think I forgot to mention war. Oh, and also war as well. Oh, and massively globalistic too. Yeah, that pretty much summarizes Nikki Haley. So, after the Iowa caucus results, what do I expect from New Hampshire? I would expect Asa Hutchinson and all these other guys to drop out as well, and it will end up being a 3-point race between Haley, Trump, and DeSantis. Trump will easily win the state by around 10 20, 30 points, maybe even more since Vivek dropped out, maybe like 35, 40 at maximum. This is a fairly liberal state, so I don't expect these results to be super overwhelmingly favorited for Trump, but he's still gonna win the state. Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis will win a few counties here and there, but I still project a victory for Trump in New Hampshire. I do think he will win ultimately, not just in New Hampshire, but again, all these other states. I think he will perform extremely well on Super Tuesday, and even before that, I think he'll also carry Nevada and South Carolina. Imagine beating Nikki Haley in South Carolina. I mean, if Nikki Haley ends up losing her home state to Trump, that's pretty much when she should drop out. Like, you'll lose New Hampshire and you'll lose Nevada. If you end up losing your own home state in South Carolina, that's the final nail in the casket. You should drop out at that point. And again, keep in mind, only one of these candidates in the GOP primary have been banned off a ballot, have been indicted, had their personal home of residence raided. First time in US history where that actually happened. I think there's a reason why Trump is doing super well in the polls. A lot of the attacks and the indictments are actually helping Trump more so than harming him. The dude literally cemented himself as the GOP nominee, and at this point, why worry about the primaries if Trump and Biden are the de facto nominations for both parties? Just putting that out there. So yeah, that's really all there is to it now. Before I end this off, I also want to mention how seamless the process in Iowa was compared to last time around. I wasn't really expecting it to be ran that smoothly, especially when there was that crazy snowstorm that was happening around that time. It was freezing cold temperatures. This actually went pretty smooth. There was no app on people's phone that was malfunctioning. There was no chaos that was going on, no drama and whatnot. This went pretty smooth, and this was almost as perfect as you can get. No technical difficulties, no problems. Round of applause to people running the caucuses because it went so smoothly. There was no issues, nothing malfunctioning. They didn't have to rely on a broken app for counting votes, and everything was peachy keen. So I congratulate the people running this for how smoothly this went. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed, be sure to hit that like button down below, and if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel and ring the little notification bell. Be sure to follow me on all my social medias, links are in the description below, including and especially my Twitter. That is where I am the most active, and that is where a lot of this other election coverage will be covered as well, so be sure to follow me there. You don't want to miss out. Share this video around with your friends, families, boyfriends, girlfriends, enemies, whomever. Definitely helps me out a lot, helps the video grow, and helps grow the channel if you were to share this video around with whomever you know. Don't forget to leave all your feedback and thoughts in the comment section down below, as I always end the conversation down below. Who do you think is going to win next? Do you think this helps Trump? Do you think Trump already won the nomination? Do you think the nomination is going to be Trump versus Biden? Who do you think is going to win in New Hampshire other than Trump? How much do you think your predicted winner is going to win by? Should we be focusing on the general over the primaries at this point? Again, leave all your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section down below, as I always end the conversation down to you. Also in the comments down below, in a pinned comment, there will also be an invite link to my Discord server where you can hang out, chit chat, play video games with me, or send me some news tips and video ideas on what to cover in future videos. DMs are open, so I am open to any new ideas if you have them. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, ring notifications, and until then, take care, talk soon, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.